So, I spoke at length about two different individuals, which, based on the categories of people whom I've met in life before, probably explain almost everything about how much energy you do have and how you can gain more energy. One category of people actually complain about almost everything under the sun. They make excuses, they have plenty of complaints and excuses and blame other people for what it is that they can't achieve. On the other hand, there are those who are a little bit more forthcoming that whatever kinds of disadvantages that they may have, they don't focus on those. Instead, they focus on the things that they can do instead. So in this classification of two groups of individuals, I'd like you to really ask yourself, which one do you belong to? Do you belong to the blamers or do you belong to the winners? At the end of the day, we need to consciously remember that energy is actually a resource that we manage, just like time, just like money. I mean, we have money in our pockets, we know how to manage our time, but do you really know how to manage your energy? Your thought translates into energy. So the more you're preoccupied with a lot of things, essentially your energy is being utilized and you may not even know about it. So conscious energy management is extremely important. So when you're in the workplace, what are you thinking about? Are you constantly worried about those 7 or 8 different things? How can you consistently manage that effectively? And you see, if you happen to come in the blamer side of the equation, it's going to be very clear that your life's going to be really miserable for you because you're going to constantly think about all those problems that you have, why people aren't supporting you in the workplace or at home. It doesn't matter, because the moment you're in the blame frame, the moment you're playing the victim, the moment you're in what we call the fixed mindset, you're going to constantly view life as something which is dreary, difficult, stressful, and sometimes you just want to shrink away. Now here's the thing, a lot of people will ask me, so what's in it for me to get out of something like this? And my recommendation is to look into the future. So just for a moment, if you happen to be in this blame frame at this moment, and whatever reasons there are, don't get me wrong, you may be absolutely justified in blaming somebody else. That's beside the point. The point is, you're now a battery, an organic battery that's been consuming the energy, sometimes because of your autopilot thinking methods. And these processes drain you. Now, imagine this. Right now, whatever worst case scenario you're experiencing, I'd like you to put it inside your mind for a moment. And I want you to imagine what you believe about yourself at this present moment. Maybe because you think you've done your very best and still your manager wants you to do more. You have been passed over for promotion. You've just been fired from your job. You've just been diagnosed with major illness, life-threatening or otherwise, whatever. Whatever is experienced inside of your mind is going to generate a certain feeling. It could be anger, frustration, unfairness, whatever that emotion might be, but it's most likely a negative emotion. I'd like you to, inside your mind, think of that emotion and carry it forward for 1 year. You probably won't notice that much of a difference in a year, but I want you to accelerate that time orientation and start thinking what will happen if you continue to hold on to this angst, this frustration, and you start moving forward into the future, 5 years, 10 years down the road. By the time you're 30, 40 or 50 years old, having all of this pent-up frustration inside of you, what's likely to happen when someone comes along with a really good offer? You're going to be skeptical, you're going to wonder whether this person's integrity is worth it, and you're literally going to block yourself from getting that next break. And on top of that, imagine someone comes up to you and starts sharing their absolute admiration or appreciation for you. You know what is going to go on inside your mind? You're going to likely to think that this person is just doing things for some kind of a hidden agenda. And again, you're going to brush off whatever appreciation that you already have been getting because you are not focusing on the things that will get you to where you want to go. So carry out this thought pattern and begin to ask yourself, what beliefs are holding me there? What habits of, perpetually thinking about all these am I going to build over the next 10 to 20 years? Do I really want to end up an old, retired individual with tired thoughts? So what I want you to begin is a journey, not to stay in the blame frame. And I know, no matter what happens, people still come back to me and say, Stuart, that's not being realistic, that's being delusional. Well, if you want to change yourself from a negative to a positive person, you have already deluded yourself into being a negative person in the first place. So why not delude yourself in the opposite direction? At least you'll have more fun, you know. The idea behind it is we know how to feel bad for no good reason. It's time for us to shift from that and to begin to feel good for no good reason, turn it into a habit, allow ourselves to experience abundance, and through that mindset, build a set of beliefs that says, I'm worthwhile, I matter, and I can make a difference in the world today. So if you find that you may be disadvantaged, you know what? That's the best time for you to rise to this challenge when things don't seem to be going very well for you, when things seem to be tough. So that psychologically, emotionally, physically, mentally, you're galvanizing your resources. You're utilizing these resources, not because I told you to, but because you know if you can create so much disaster in your life, you most certainly can create a lot of positive energy in your life. And it all begins with a singular thought. That when something bad happens, someone passes you over for promotion, for example, you can spend an hour, 2 hours moping, groaning, griping about it. Or you could say, what does this person actually want? Let's have a conversation and let's challenge him to make my promotion happen in the next couple of years. And you do that much more consistently, much more clearly, you know, through conversation. If you had to do a job, you had an assignment or a project to do, it's very easy to say, I've got so much already on my plate, I can't handle it. And the moment that happens, you create that blockage that is going to prevent you from being able to do that anyway. Sure, I know some of you literally are on, multiple doses of caffeine every day, and you're trying to get your 2001 projects going all the way. And I know it's not easy, but life was not meant to be easy. If it was meant to be easy, then what's the purpose of living life? Our purpose to learn and to grow is simply so that we can use the capacity encapsulated in this thing called our body so that our mind and our spirit can get nourished. So that no matter what challenges take place, those are precisely the challenges for you because it signals a blockage, signals that you are not yet growing in the direction that the universe is directing you toward. So whatever it is that you're experiencing right now, do remember that it is necessary for you to change your mind, and it's necessary for you to change it on a consistent basis. Don't get me wrong, it takes a long time to get over negative emotions. I'm not asking you not to feel any emotions at all. I'm saying, yes, the negative emotions come in, clear it out. Move on to what it is that you want to do instead, how it is that you want to feel, because that is a choice. If you choose not to do this, then it's easy for you to feel miserable for the rest of your life. So it happens that there are people who just simply cannot move in that direction because they're so hurt, disappointed, dejected over life because these things seem to happen to them over and over and over again. Well, guess what? It's not the thing that's happening to them, it is the them that is seeing the world. Because if I asked you to start closing your eyes and imagining what you just see in your surrounding, you probably can't make out all the different colors. When you open your eyes, you start noticing different colors. But if we zoom in our focus and paid attention to that one thing that we wanted to look out for, it's going to appear everywhere. So what are you looking out for? Your energies, don't they matter? When you go into the workplace, aren't you sick and tired of coming to a place where you hate? And you know what? You're coming into a workplace that you hate because you created that hate inside of yourself. Why not take it, refine it, and ask yourself how you can meet this challenge? Because in the next 2 to 3 years, guess what? You may decide to just move on from the organization that you're working in or the place that you're working in. It does not matter. What really does matter is your ability to decide today that you will be a better person. So there was a gentleman who came and approached me not too long ago, and he said this. He said, Stuart, I feel that my managers aren't fair to me. They are constantly telling me things to do and they rate me average. But I feel that I've been doing really well, and I think they have a prejudice against me because of the way I carry myself and the kinds of things that I do in the workplace. So we had a little bit of conversation, and it so happened that he was on the verge of tendering his resignation on that very day itself. And I said this: it is your choice to tender a resignation, whether you want it or not. Your career is your own path to build. But what's also important is this: if you have been told that, oh, because of such a behavior, they appear to be prejudiced, you know what? Other people can have the exact same prejudice toward you, and you're going to have the same spiral of emotions all over again. And my challenge to him was this: go out there and prove them wrong. Go out there and show them that you aren't such a person. Go out there and demonstrate to them so that you are convinced that you've done whatever it takes, and then leave the ball back in their court. Whether they reciprocate and give you a chance is a completely different thing altogether. That probably presumes you need persuasion and influence skills. But that is the point where you can say, I can leave without having any bad blood, because I am proving to myself, to my own benefit, that I can do it, that I can surpass this obstacle, so that when I go to the next workplace, I won't have to be plagued by these problems anymore. So the beauty of it is, number one, you encounter challenges and you stretch yourself. Number two, if you're constantly focusing on what doesn't work, then your mind is going to create the things that won't work for you, and that's going to be your reality. Your energy gets drained, and you're not managing your energies effectively as a human being. So I'd encourage you that no matter what's going on in your life, start off with a happy thought. Learn how to feel good for no good reason. My teacher of neuro-linguistic programming, Dr. Richard Bandler, the founder of NLP, once said, you need to learn to feel good for no good reason, and ask yourself, how much good feeling can I stand? And through that incorporation of energy, you find that the morning can be as dreary or as positive, as unlucky or as loving as you choose it to be. All it takes is really just stepping out on the day itself and choosing that you will create the day the way you want to.